Hello guys, welcome back to SWS Boxing. Delighted to get on the channel Brandon Lewis. He's had 5 fights with one win by knockout. And yes, how are you, Brandon?
I'm good, brother. Been looking forward to chatting to you for a while.
Good to get you on. And yeah, before we get into your 5 contests that you've had so far in your pro career, talk about how you sort of got into the sport of boxing.
Got into boxing because I've always loved combat sports. Used to kickbox from a young age, and I ended up getting introduced down at Finchley Amateur Boxing Club to Sean Murphy, and the rest is history. I've just been on this road ever since.
And yeah, so talk about the transition into from kickboxing to boxing.
Easy to be quite honest. Um, I just had to switch off my legs. I literally just switched off my legs. At first, I thought it would be difficult, and it just ended up me saying, "Don't knee, don't hold, don't clinch, don't." I mean, if I was fighting Tyrells, don't elbow. It was quite simple to be quite honest, because we've always practiced, especially in K1. You always practice kind of your boxing separate. Sometimes you do boxing rounds. It's not just all kicking, kneeing. So yeah, it just ended up just switching it off, mate.
Fair enough. And would you say, wait, did you turn straight from a kickboxer to a pro boxer, or did you have some amateur fights in boxing?
No, I had amateur fights. Yeah,
How
yeah.
many how many amateur fights did you have?
Went to finish the amateur boxing club. I got sent down there, and I ended up having 10 amateurs. So in total, that's out over 2 seasons. It's very difficult to match me. Now I come to think of it as an amateur. So my first season, I think I had about 6 bouts. Um, and the second season, I had the remaining four. My overall record for an amateur was 6-4, so 6 wins and 4 losses. I always say, like, I take it with a pinch of salt. Gary Foley used to say to me, first tens for learning, second tens for earning. I always remember him telling me that, meaning like your first 10 bouts you're meant to be learning on the job. Second 10 bouts is where you can actually start making some progression in boxing and putting your skills to work. Um, and I found that out pretty early on, to be quite honest. I come from kickboxing; it's a totally different style. Even though they Finchley kind of molded me into a bit more of the traditional Queensbury boxing style. Yeah, I enjoyed the amateurs. I enjoyed the amateurs. It was really fun. I really loved the home that I was in, which was Finchley Amateur Boxing Club. The people down there are great, and they teach really well. They breed champions at the end of the day. Yeah, very grateful, very thankful for them. And my second season was over at Neasden IQ, where I started to learn a little bit of a different style of boxing, a bit more relaxed, a bit more Afro-American style. Um, I could be a bit more individualistic or a bit more individual to myself at Neasden. Whereas at Finchley, I felt like they had a certain way they wanted to teach me how to box, which was great because it taught me the fundamentals. So yeah.
And yeah, how long have you been coached with Josh for?
Josh has been training me now for just over a year. So I came to him. I was originally at Pug in North Finchley under Don Charles and Jason Matthews, the
Yeah.
former middleweight world champion. He was my coach before, along with my stepdad Kingsley Morgan. And yeah, after I left there and I came over to Josh, Josh took me on and it just clicked. It's been great. It's been beautiful. The relationship we have as coach and a student or boxer is beautiful. He's a really good friend of mine. We understand each other and we can talk on a deeper level. Um, it works really well. Josh is a great coach, and I'm sure you've heard. good things about him.
Yeah. And yeah, of course, you've had the your fight so far. You made your debut in 2022 in Watford, and yeah, 40-36 win on your debut.
Yeah, man. It was a lovely, lovely time. To have my debut in Watford, my hometown, surrounded by my family, friends. Um, yeah, it was beautiful. It was lovely. Um, many more of them occasions to come.
And
Many.
it couldn't get much better, debut. You only get one debut, and it to be in your hometown must have been special.
It was special, mate. It was magical. Like to get a dominant win like that as well. Don't get me wrong, I was looking for the knockout. I wanted the knockout, but the guy was tough as nails. Um, I punched him all over the ring and yeah, bloodied him up, and he just didn't go. It was an unfortunate one, and everyone was kind of giving me props after saying how tough he was.
Yeah.
But we got the job done, and you know what I mean. We got the points win. It was dominant points win. Don Charles actually made a statement to me. It's stuck with me for life. It's a really big achievement for me and accolade. He said it was one of the best debutant performances he's ever witnessed. So that made me proud and proud to bring that back to Pug Gym at that time. Yeah, great debut. I loved it.
Yeah. And of course, in your second fight, you got that KO in the first round.
Yeah, so we had a bunch of pullouts for that fight. My career has been kind of scattered or littered with like injuries and pullouts and opponent changes last minute and show cancellations. It's been a rocky road. I'm not gonna lie, but we're getting through it. That second fight was great. Um, just rocked up. We knew what we wanted to do. We had just been training to just knock people out the entire camp, just work on that backhand and um, just time him. And that's exactly what we did. We went out in the first round. I clipped him with a backhand. I see him start wobbling, and then the instincts just kicked in. Saw blood, and just put him down for the first time. Went back to my corner, waited, heard "relax" being shouted from Kingsley and Jason. Just relax. So I come back out there relaxed, and we just timed him and got the stoppage, got him out of there
In good fashion as well.
in dramatic fashion. Yeah, that was knockout of the year 2022 or 2023, I think it was.
Um, yeah, it was just 22, I think that one.
Yeah, yeah. I lose track of time, mate. I'm getting old.
It goes quick. And
Yeah,
yeah, in your third contest, you fought Victor Edgar at Kentish Town, another 40-36 win. And
yeah,
yeah, recently, Victor Edgar, he's a tricky, he's an awkward sort of customer. And recently he's pulled a few draws and wins on the road.
yeah. He's a very tricky operator. When I fought him, he was just running the whole time. I think he kind of knew what I was about. Um, off of the stoppage win. The KO I got just prior to that, and he just ran the whole fight. It got so frustrating for me. It got to a point where I got out of the ring after the fight, and I said to my coaches, I was like, I don't want to fight another journeyman. Like it was it was jarring. But
Or could you not get your shots off or
I was getting shots off, but he was just moving and smothering and just making things very unclean, but not even trying to throw, just literally holding on to me the whole time.
makes it frustrating, doesn't he?
It does when you just want to box. I just want to box. I just want to fight. I want hands to be thrown. I want to be able to catch, count. I want to be able to impose my will. I want someone to try and come to me and try and stick it on me. That's what we live for. We live for the fight. And when someone's not fighting, it's more of a wrestling match. It makes it very frustrating. But it is what it is. It's part of the game. And obviously he's a well versed and skilled journeyman. I think he's just got awarded like Journeyman of the Year or something
Mm.
quite recently. So props to him. I mean, he's doing his thing. He's earning his money. He's earning his bag. You got to give him respect for that, and respect for stepping up against game prospects all the time and like taking that punishment and mostly coming out unscathed. Like this boy, he
Mm.
goes in there and he's fighting hard men and not getting knocked out and managing to survive. I think it's because of his elusive, tricky style and the way that he smothers you and just makes it impossible for you to throw combinations. He just closes the distance and just shuts it all down. But props to him, man.
Would you
Respect.
say would you say he's been the most awkward boxer you've fought so far?
Him and uh the guy I just fought in the four-man knockout tournament and top tier, um, James Osborne, because he was so short. He was so short that I was punching down like ridiculous angles. Um, I was punching down, and he was just slipping off, and then he was doing the same thing, closing the distance and smothering, and it just became everything was just too close. There was no. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's making all the work messy, and I just want to fight.
Well, we'll get fully onto that one in a minute, but just before that, you fought in March this year against Nathan Lee at the famous Your Call. Fought
Yeah,
another
that was
40-36 win. Talk about that one.
that was a great one. Respect to Nathan Lee as well. He was I think it was a cruiserweight at one point. He come down to light heavyweight, so I had to kind of just not drop weight. So I just stayed at kind of my natural weight for that one. Um, for him. He's a long, gangly, long-limbed southpaw. Um, he did similar, but in a different way to Victor Edgar. Smothered the shot, smothered the distance, but he did it from like a high guard situation, and it gave me the opportunity to kind of like punch around it. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I got to show off a little bit more of my boxing skill and my my flow in that fight. I got to time him a couple of times and just show people. It was my first time fighting in York Hall, so I kind of wanted to put on a bit more of a show. Don't get me wrong, if I could have got the stoppage, I would have. He was another tough cookie. Um, I hit him hard, and he managed to weather it. So respect him again. Nathan Lee, you're a tough man.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it's good boy. I liked him. I liked him. I liked his whole aura, his energy. And even after he shook my hand and he seemed positive and happy. And yeah, I mean, I think he was just new to the road and the
Yeah, because
journeyman
I
scene.
think it was his fifth fight.
Yeah, so it was beautiful to see the kind of energy, the happiness, and like, yeah, he's a good boy. I enjoyed fighting him. I've never actually got to speak to him like one on one or like in depth. So if he's watching this, Nathan Lee, I respect you. I like you, mate. Give us a shout. Let's have a coffee and yeah,
Good stuff.
respect.
And yeah, you mentioned it a minute ago, James Osborne in the knockout tournament last week. Talk about that fight. Unfortunately for you, it was your first defeat, a split decision defeat. Talk about that fight.
Yeah, it was just a cagey fight, wasn't it? If you watched it back, it was just cagey. Um, honestly, it was so close. You could have split hairs. Like um, 3 rounds, over 3 rounds, obviously. Four-man knockout tournament, 3 3-minute rounds. So a shorter format. It was like the amateurs, to be quite honest, and I weren't very great at the amateur format. We did it just for the opportunity, to be quite honest. We wanted that Commonwealth title, silver Commonwealth title shot. It weren't about the money. It weren't about anything else. It weren't even about the record. It was just about getting that silver Commonwealth title shot. Unfortunately, it didn't come off. He just was slippery, very slippery, and smothered the shots. He didn't actually hit me with much. I
It
think
was
he hit me
sort of
about
it was a scrappy fight. If I'm honest.
those. He was scrappy. I was trying to be a surgeon. I was trying to be the scalpel. He was trying to be a sledgehammer. Um, and to be quite honest, he hit me about four times, like in the entire fight. Like, and they were glancing shots. Um, I think the volume of his punching made the judges lean his way.
Do
He
you
threw
think
a
because
lot
he might be because he
more
was a bit
punches.
busier?
Exactly, exactly. Because if you actually look back the tapes, um, in the ring, I thought, yeah, fair enough, he nicked it.
Yeah,
He could have stayed each way. If it was a 4 round fight, you know what I mean, it might have edged it better for me. But you could have given that a draw, but you can't give a draw in a 3 round fight. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
Um, I in the ring, I thought, okay, fair enough, he's just nicked it. But watching the tapes back and seeing the landed clean shots and the amount that I made him miss and the way I made him miss, um, I saw myself winning rounds 1 and 3. So I thought I'd taken that. And I'm very skeptical of my own work. Like even with the lesser activity, the cleaner shots landed should be the defining factor. And kind of the ferocity of the counter shots, the devastation of the counter shots I'm throwing. I'm throwing like power shots. I'm not just throwing, like tapping, scoring shots all the time. You know what I mean? But it is. It happened. I'm not making excuses. Fair
Has it
dues to the
been
boy who
has it been tough
win
to
it. So,
take?
uh, do you know what? No, no, it's really strange. In the first 24 hours, I think I was a bit shell shocked. I was like, okay, what do I do now? Um, and then by the Monday, so obviously we fought on the Saturday.
Mm.
By the Monday, I was just like, no, it doesn't actually do anything to me. People were saying to me, "Oh, how's it feel to lose your O?" And I was like, "It don't feel like anything. It's like it's nothing." And especially because it was only a 3 round fight. It wasn't even proper professional rounds, like 4 rounds or
Mm.
6 rounds or 8 rounds.
Yeah.
I feel like if it had gone one more round, I would have won that fight. I was only just starting to find my backhand. I
You're only
caught him with
starting
some.
to warm up though towards the end.
Exactly. The third round, I started hitting with my backhand and arcing the punch and kind of like throwing my uppercuts in, and yeah, they were just starting to find their target, and I was just kind of coming on. I finished that fight. I wasn't even gassed. I wasn't even out of first gear. Like I wasn't out of breath or anything. It's kind of crazy. I was kind of like, "Oh, where's the rest of it?" But it is what it is.
Would you have
Uh,
preferred it maybe to be six or
Absolutely,
would
absolutely.
you want a rematch with James down the line?
Yeah, absolutely. Right, we can run it back tomorrow. We can run it back tomorrow. Do 6 rounds, do 4 rounds. I'll still win, but do 6 rounds, do 8 rounds, do 10 rounds. No problem. 12 rounds. We could do 12 rounds. No problem. No problem. This short format thing, this isn't really for me. As we found out, but we tried our luck at a an opportunity and we came up short. So um I mean, you can't knock him out for trying.
Yeah, 100%. And are you gonna would you want to? Do you want to get straight back in there? Do you want to try and see what other fights you can get? Did you see John Marvin, Ryan Maycott? What do you make of them two?
Yeah,
I know those two were in the
we
other
wa- we
fight.
watched the end of their fight. I think it's like the last round, 2 rounds or something like that of their fight. Just when I was in the hall on the way out, in the tunnel on the way out, we're watching their fight, and I just thought it was scrappy. It was a proper slugfest. It was scrappy. It was a mess. Um,
That was a bit of a scrappy fight as well,
Yeah,
to be honest.
we fancy them, no problem. No, we saw that and we thought, yeah, yeah, we get through this guy, we won this. Um, and yeah, we actually offered out John Marvin after. We
Were you
offered
gonna
him
fight John next?
we offered him a fight, but they turned it down. but it is what it is. Yeah, they're exploring other options, so it is what it is. It would have been a good narrative, you know what I mean? The two people that were in the tournament that ended up coming up short. It would have been a good story to tell, a good fight to have.
What about
Um,
Ryan?
Brian May got, yeah, he was scrappy, wasn't he? He was just a mess. It was a mess.
He's
It's not
he's
really.
all he's an awkward fighter. He's good, Ryan.
Yeah, it's not really my cup of tea, to be quite honest. You know what I mean? It's just a mess, but it is what it is.
When are you trying to?
You went quiet there.
I don't know what to say really. But
Yeah, no, mate, I'm an honest guy. Like I say it as I see it.
yeah, you said it
Like,
how you
I
feel.
watched him fight the last two rounds, and it was just a mess. Um, Predominantly kind of initiated by his work. Um, but then John kind of made it sloppy as well. So
I thought personally, I thought Ryan won the fight, but
yeah, a lot of people were saying that. I heard a lot of people saying that and saying that they thought that he pressed the fight more and worked more.
he
I
caught
guess,
John as well towards the first round. He actually
yeah,
caught him
he dropped him or
flush.
something.
No,
Did he?
he didn't drop him, but he had him going towards the end of the first round.
Okay, I haven't watched it back. I've watched some highlights. I haven't watched the whole thing, but yeah, I heard some people saying that they thought that Ryan won it, but they can see why it was given to John because of how much of a mess he was. He did the cleaner work, etc., etc., etc. We thought that would have been the case in our one, but we didn't get the nod. So yeah, fair dues and well done to them too as well. Yeah.
When do you want to be back out?
ASAP, brother. I'm looking forward to a really busy 2025. I've had a lot of messages through saying from people saying, um, can we get a bit more activity? Can like we see you more? Like I think people are starting to realize I can box, and they just want to see more of just more. I want to give people more of the ferocious side of Brandon. So no more short three-man tournaments. We're gonna give people longer fights, 6, 8 rounds, 10 rounds. Probably the next one's gonna be the next one's definitely gonna be a 6 or an 8.
Who's your promoter?
Um, I haven't got a dedicated promoter at the moment. I'm unsigned, but my manager is Josh Burnham as well.
Mhm.
Um, so he manages to sort everything out for us. But yeah, we're looking at March the 7th is pencil for a nice 50-50 fight. We're only doing 50-50 fights now. We're not doing no journeyman. People don't want to see 50-50 fights. They want to see real fights, and we don't mind taking them. So I don't mind fighting any of these guys. I've been in the gym, sorry, for a long time now, training away and working on our craft and through injuries and everything's taken longer than expected, but we've still been dedicated and disciplined and been learning, and I feel like we're ready to kind of go forward and take on these names. So I'm looking forward to 2025, to be quite honest. It's gonna be a busy year, and it's gonna be a lot of kind of intense 50-50 fights.
Good stuff. And yeah, I've got two things before I let you go. Yeah, the first one is, do you have any advice for somebody who might want to start boxing?
Yeah, I do. Um, One of my old coaches from Finchley Amateur Boxing Club, Foley, Coach Foley, Uncle Foley. He used to say to me this one thing. He said, Brandon, give it 2 years. Give it 2 years and you'll be unrecognizable. You see, he said, see how far you come. Just give it 2 years. And I believed him at the time. And I said, yeah, okay, cool. I'll give it 2 years. And I was astonished to really understand what he meant by that. 2 years in, you are unrecognizable as a boxer. if you commit yourself and you dedicate yourself to this craft. Um, Learning every day, learning, studying, watching boxing, listening to boxers, listening to coaches, just living boxing. Do that for 2 whole years. You're unrecognizable. You'll look back at old videos of you and go, wow, look how crap I was. Look at me now. It's phenomenal. So I'd say the discipline to stick at it, the perseverance to stick at it for 2 years, and you'll understand after that.
100%. And before I let you go, do you want to shout out whether that's your team, manage, just anyone who's helping you?
Yeah, I want a big shout out to BoxFit for helping me throughout my career, amateur and professional, with kit, with everything. Doug in particular, family to me. Shout out to Dre from BoxFit for my kit. He did an amazing job. Big shout out to Jab, um, the gym I'm at in Bushy. Josh Burnham, the head coach. Massive shout out to ML Roofing, one of my sponsors. APR Signs. Um, who else? My family, my mum for supporting me. Shaolin Kickboxing. They've done bits for me over the years. They're my kickboxing club I grew up with and taught me how to fight. So I owe everything to them and chief instructor Kingsley Morgan. So yeah, shout out to all them people. Love, 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 and everyone supporting me. Everyone supporting me, buying tickets, coming out to show support, sending me messages online and on Instagram, DMs. It's all appreciated. It's massive love, and it will be reciprocated.
And from me, Brandon, thank you for your time. Unlucky last weekend, and yeah, keep up the good work, mate.
Thank you so much, brother. It's been really lovely talking to you.
Anytime, Brandon. Thank you.
Take care, mate. Bye
Bye.
bye.